Hello and welcome to my design activity for Crit Session. What am I proudest to show off for LDT 550? HTML was really difficult for me. It was really time consuming. I don't have a lot of visual design skills that I've cultivated over the years. And so with all of my powers, with the dozens of hours I put into my project, I was able to recreate a 1999 GeoCities website S quality website, basically. So this is not the thing I'm most proudest of. I think it's funny, but I definitely am a lot more proud of my Photoshop design module. I've always wanted to learn Photoshop, and I have felt over the years that something in visual design was outside the scopes of my skill set. If I was participating in a group project and we needed someone to handle art, that was always farmed out to somebody else. But I thought this would be really important to highlight because this is a skill that I can develop that'll help me in a lot of different ways in the real world. So when I started off doing the Kandinsky Bauhaus sort of part of this module, I played around with the colors, and Photoshop is really difficult for me. It feels as if I was using a Mac for the first time, having been a lifelong Windows user. I didn't know where the shortcuts were. Even with tutorials, it just seemed very hard to even accomplish basic things. I'm recording this on my work laptop as I'm currently on the road traveling for work, and I don't have access to Photoshop, so I can't show you the raw files with the grids and everything like that. But I started off with my primary colors, secondary colors, and non-colors. And once I kind of had that down, and it took me a few hours, I mean, it seems crazy, but it took me a while. Once I was comfortable and I knew how to play around with the rectangles and the layers, I was able to, play around with center balance and vertical balance. Now with center balance, I feel like I did an okay job. With vertical balance, I definitely received feedback and knew myself that not all of this is balanced as well as it could be. There are a lot of colors that are next to one another that definitely kind of create an uneasy visual kind of spark as they're so different, contrasting. But I felt like I was on the right path. I wanted to create a collage, and this is where I feel like I got more comfortable with Photoshop. I am going to be marrying my fiance next November, and I thought I would surprise her by putting together a collage of some of our favorite moments traveling together, with the center picture being the ring and the proposal in the center there, where everything kind of frames it. I kind of struggled with this in some ways. The challenges for this specific assignment were trying to find pictures that were a good balance of vertical and horizontal, that didn't have too many contrasting colors, and I tried to space them in a way that was pleasing. And I think, again, as I'm getting feedback on this, you'll see parts where there could be improvements. I didn't know if I should have pictures overlap or a space between them, and I think my half measure doesn't quite work. What does work, though, is my logo. This is the one thing in the Photoshop module where I really am proud of this. I kept a blog about a study abroad trip to Japan that I called The Concrete Rainbow, because Japan has a lot of colors and it's a very urban environment. So it's kind of this contrast of beauty and extreme urbanization. And so for my logo, I wanted to have a rainbow, but that rainbow was going to have a concrete texture. And then the actual CR below it, I wanted that to be in a rainbow color as well. So I found a good rainbow shape. I basically kind of cut that out, and then I used a clipping mask and put the concrete texture beneath it. And then I found through 1001 fonts a nice font that would represent the CR for the blog name. I centered that below the rainbow, and then I looked up textures of rainbows that are created on concrete. So when you have water and oil, they meet, it has that oiliest rainbow. And I did the same thing, a clipping mask over that, used black to kind of fill it in between. I think it's visually striking, and it's the one thing I've had in my mind for a long time that I wanted to do in Photoshop, but didn't have any knowledge of how to do it. And I think it really turned out well. The challenges for this overall, I don't have a lot of experience with visual design, and I've told myself that this is something I'm incapable of doing. So I have a mental sort of hurdle that I had to overcome with this. And I think still I'm struggling with low confidence in general with visual design. Photoshop also is a whole different beast of a program, and it's really not newbie friendly. You have to spend a lot of time, a lot of different tutorials to figure out what you're doing as well. And I also find that because I don't use this regularly, it's going to be hard to maintain my skills. However, I think this was really worthwhile, and it's something that I want to build upon down the road. I want to continue these skills in developing them. Thank you for watching.